this morning. We are live from New York.
Saturday night.
Yes.
Yes, and we are on the Outlander BTS New York City Tartan Day Parade Tour. So we have some visitors here. We have a live audience. I know this won't make you behave better, but
Ha ha ha. Hello.
you know some of these faces. Just go around and say your name.
Terry. Joanne.
Hi, Terry.
Leslie. Phyllis. Pam. Linda. Anne Marie. Marion. Nina. Lisa.
Hey, so many familiar faces.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Serious FOMO right now, but I couldn't be there. Sorry.
Me neither.
This is my shirt. There you go.
You're in red, I'm in gray.
Ooh.
Woo! So we are at the historic Edison Hotel in Times Square in New York. And just a little bit about this hotel, because it's really cool. It was built in 1931, named after Edison, Thomas Edison. And he actually turned the lights on in the hotel when it opened on the opening day. But he
Cool.
was in his home in New Jersey. So it was like a long distance turn on. And it was actually switched so that he pushed a button and then the lights came on. They were on the telephone coordinating it. And this place opened 17 days before he died.
Oh, wow.
So this place opened October 1st. He died October 18th.
Wow.
So it makes sense he did it remotely. Today, we are discussing episode 806, Blessed are the Merciful, written by Danielle Barrow and directed by Neil McCormick. I'm Courtney Williams, producer of Outlander Behind the Scenes, and I'm drinking water provided by the Edison Hotel. My overall impression of this episode. Okay, so after 803 and 805, which I just adored those episodes, I thought this was a good, solid episode, but it didn't come up to that mark for me. Not my favorite of the season, but a good one.
Good morning, everyone. Antoinette here, and I am drinking what may or may not be coffee.
Yeah.
I'll go for the may not.
You know me too well. I'm a prosecutor, and I love both the books and the show, but I'm not a purist by any means. I don't need everything in the books for them to try and horn it into the show. Okay? And my overall impression of this episode, it's 806 already, was that it was good TV. As usual, Outlander produces good TV. And I enjoyed the episode.
Hi, my name is Carmen Schmidt, and greetings from the Pacific Northwest, where it's just slightly after 7:30 a.m. I want to tell everybody, and I've already had my dog walk and my exercises and my breakfast. So I've been up for a while. I am a professor of human anatomy for almost 40 years, although I am now retired. I would rate this episode as good, solid TV. Not my favorite, but very good. And I am drinking homemade chai this morning.
Any rum in there?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No, no. It's just a little bit. It's a
Leave
little
Carmen
bit.
alone. She woke up early.
Wow.
I
Leave Carmen
did.
alone. Yes.
Hello, I am Catherine Harmon Toomer, family medicine. And here by way of Blacklanders, I actually did the convos for this episode. So you can check that out at blacklanders.com. So my brief overall impression was that it was okay. I didn't like the way Jamie was portrayed in this episode, but it was okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Let's go on to favorite scenes. Antoinette, did you have a favorite scene?
Yeah.
Okay. That's-
I had several favorite scenes, actually.
we'll just-
One of my favorite scenes was the scene between William and Ben when they were arguing, when he comes back into the tent and they were arguing. And William says to him, "Who do you think was comforting her?" And it just brought me back to when Lord John said to Jamie, "I've had carnal knowledge of your wife." It brought, because that's what he was saying without actually saying it. And I thought that was so clever. So I love that scene. Both of them are very good. The actors, I mean, they
Yeah.
have good, they spark off each other very well.
I-
So I enjoyed that scene.
Okay.
And I love a good fight anyway.
I like the guy they have playing
Yeah, Ben. Yeah,
He's good. Okay, Carmen?
Yes, well, that was on my list too, Antoinette. But I will pick another one, and that is that I enjoyed the whole story arc about Rachel and Augie and Totus and works with her hands, the Brants. But out of that, I would select a scene between Rachel, Ian, Totus, and works with her hands. Oh man, I was crying during that. That was a very tearjerker for me. So I would put that on my list. That's on my list.
Dang it. I was like, we're only gonna do one favorite scene. Why didn't I realize someone's gonna take mine? I thought that scene was, I was bawling. I bawled on the air. I watched this on the airplane on the way over here to New York. And I was literally just bawling watching that, and with my glasses and my little napkin and, you know, cramped in the seat. I, and when you think about what the dynamics of that scene, they had a baby, they had a child, they had a puppy, they were speaking Mohawk, Scots, and English, and plain speech. I mean, there was a lot going on in that scene, and they did a phenomenal job, I thought. That was also my favorite scene. And I didn't pick another one. So
My favorite scene was actually between William and Dr. Hunter.
okay.
That was fun. It was funny. It was just it just ticked all the boxes for me.
Good one.
Okay. Yeah. These are my amazing BTS patrons who are here. And one of the perks of being a patron is getting to do these tours. And then this is a special one because these guys get to have input into our episode discussion today. So I'm going to be reading out some of their answers as our fifth person. And I'm going to pick Phyllis Sitar. She's been a devoted Outlander fan since 2022 and loves both the books and the show. And she liked this episode very much. And her favorite scene was Jamie bringing his eviction notice to Hiram Crombie. She liked the beautiful contrast between the two men, Jamie feeling extreme anger but expressing the strength and control of a leader, and Hiram squirming from defeat and betrayal to a superior man. This was done in front of his wife and community, adding to the humiliation.
Yeah, that was one of mine too. She captured what I liked about the scene, the contrast between Jamie in his strength. We saw a lot of Book Jamie in this episode in terms of the lines and he sort of almost had a regal bearing, which really resonated with me because I've always longed to see that side of Jamie more. So when he was with Hiram Crombie, you know, giving the eviction notice, actually, from before when he went to give him the notice and he was talking and then he pushed past him and pushed the notice into his chest and just walked off. I said, damn, Jamie, come on. So yeah, that dynamic, really, really good.
Valerie Donahue is with us here today. She's retired. And she was a English as a second language teacher in Mexico City right after she got out of college for 2 years.
Interesting.
And then she became an administrator in higher education at 3 different universities for 16 years. And then switched from education to corporate communications.
Great.
She watched Men in Kilts first.
Oh,
And then found out Outlander through that.
wow.
Fell in love.
Interesting.
You've only read Bees?
Yes, that's right.
She's only read Bees in prep for season 8. And she loved this episode. And we'll forgive you for that. Okay, so her favorite scene, I loved the way you actually expressed this. The renaming of Augie by Emily was a kiss of magic. Hunter. That was really cool. Is it that in the books?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the book? Okay, thank you. It's been a while since I've read Bees. Swiftest of lizards, presenting the grandson of Rollo to his brother, completed the arc from Rollo's death.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene had so much in it.
Yeah.
This was mentioned by a couple of people, actually. Her other favorite scene was Jamie standing on the porch, watching his family in the field below with such love in his heart as he beholds the sight of them doing ordinary things. Then seeing the realization on his face and his eyes of how his eviction of the Fraser's Ridge families will change their lives. This drives his decision to negotiate with the ladies and exclude the traitors.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Okay. Did anyone else get the impression that it wasn't his idea?
No.
That it was
That
Claire's?
was Claire's idea?
No.
That's
didn't-
the impression I got when watching that scene. Like he was kind of following Claire's lead, which is partly why I didn't like the episode, because it just seemed like
No, that was all
didn't get
Jamie.
that. I thought it was all Jamie. I want to say something. In the book, he accepts the women's proposal outright. He doesn't postpone it until he suddenly becomes aware that his own children and grandchildren are fine, and his wife, and he's doing well. And what's he doing about the women and children? That's the part about another part about Jamie's character in this episode that I disagreed with. I think he would have been not so out to lunch about that. I think he would have been on top of it.
Yeah, well, perhaps
even though I loved what happened, I did like the.
I'm sorry.
Kathy, I could see where you got that impression, and actually Valerie agreed. That because there's an exchange between Hiram Crombie's wife and Claire, where she's kind of like, "Thank you, I know you're behind this," and Valerie thought Claire
the
seemed
eye
smug.
contact, the nod of acknowledgement, the whatever. It just seemed like it just gave the impression to me that it was. And I think Carmen, even though I didn't remember at the time, I think there was a part of me remembered from the book where because one of the things about he was very decisive, and it just seemed like this whole episode he was just wishy-washy.
What? Really?
That's how I felt. I mean, that's the impression I got of the episode. Just seemed like, he knew exactly. He just, one of the things that has always been the case was that he was very quick on his feet. And so he could assess a situation very quickly, make a decision, and know it was the right one. And it just seemed like that was not happening. It from the beginning with Cleveland all the way through to the end with the women. I just didn't.
I could see that.
That's weird.
I think they were trying to show an emotional reaction.
I didn't see that at all. That's weird. It just speaks to when you come at things from a different perspective, you see them through a different lens completely, because I saw completely the opposite. It's fine to be decisive, but it's also more of a rounded character to show, ooh, maybe it wasn't, maybe I need to change my mind about this. It's not realistic. It's not human for somebody to make a decision, and no matter what else happens, they stick to it because it's my decision kind of thing.
In medicine, that is though. But that is what happens in medicine.
Yeah, but
you gather information, you grab it, and you make a decision right then.
Yeah, but that's
it. And you know it's the right one, and you stick to it. And
Yeah, but that's a
that's why
different.
I saw it differently, because
Okay.
that is what we do all the time.
Well, you see, that's the thing. That's the thing with the difference between law and medicine. Because I tell when I talk to law students, I say to them, listen, don't be intimidated by studying law because there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer because one judge looks at the same set of facts, applies the same law, and comes to a completely different conclusion from another set of judges. That's why cases get appealed and appealed and appealed. They're all looking at the same facts,
And
applying
for us,
the
we just
same
get
That can
sued.
law,
happen in medicine too.
We
and
don't get
come to a
appeals. We don't get the chance to
exactly
appeal. We're
and
sued
come to a completely
by those same lawyers.
exactly come to a completely different conclusion. You
But
see what I
but
mean?
there are mistakes made in medicine
No, I'm
sometimes.
saying there are mistakes made in medicine. However, the decision-making process, you
Mhm.
have to be confident in your decision-making when you make those decisions, and you don't have a chance to second guess or whatever.
Exactly.
Sometimes those
Because
decisions have to be made. Now, in hindsight, yes, many times those decisions aren't the correct ones, or the outcome, like what happens most of the time, doctors get sued by a typical bad outcome. So there's often different ways that things can come out of a situation, and a bad outcome can sometimes come out of it because that's a natural physiological
exactly.
progression,
But
but we get
Possibility.
blamed for it
yeah,
anyway.
exactly. But the thing is,
Yeah.
like if I had a case recently where because of the nature of the case, because it was a deal with child abuse and sex crimes, and it was an abuse of a child. And when I first got the case, I said, okay, fine, this woman needs to go to prison. You know, I'm charging her with the top charge, the most harsh. She has to go to prison. But when I got more information and was able to step back and gather more information, I realized that my first instinct was wrong. And so we had to back down, change the charges, and refer the thing to family court for family court and children's services to try and heal this family. Right? So your first instinct sometimes, especially when you're in a position of authority, you have to be able to be humble enough to say, listen, that first instinct was wrong. Let me put this right. And so that is how I interpreted what happened with
Yeah.
Jamie changing his mind.
Me too.
Yeah. But
And
then
I
there's a
think
difference between instinct
Mhm.
and decision.
Mhm.
So that's the
Yeah.
thing. Instinct is like you make a decision. Your first instinct may be wrong. You may go make a decision against your instincts, even. So
Mhm.
it's not about instinct. It's about what information do you have at that moment, and what
well,
decision do you make based on that information.
And
And you hopefully ask the right questions and gather the right enough information. But if you have a finite amount of time, well, he had more time, obviously. But I'm just saying that those are two different processes.
but I think in medicine also there's a continuum, right? You have emergency medicine where you absolutely have to make a decision and act on it. But then in more, care that's being given over someone's, if you're their doctor for a long time,
Mhm.
I would think it would be more the other way.
Mhm.
Well, you still have to make a decision about what happens next
Yeah.
every single time. And it's
going
still
back
based on the information you have at that moment.
Mhm.
going back to Jamie, the
Mhm.
reason why I prefer Diana's version is because she knows her character better than other people do. And his character in his response in the book is that he accepts what the women propose when they propose it rather than postponing it and suddenly realizing sometime down the lane that wow, this is pretty harsh for the women and their children. So that's my point.
I think book Jamie thinks faster than show Jamie.
Oh, well, I mean, Book Jamie is the king of men and has very few foibles, very few flaws. I don't mind a flawed character. I don't mind a flawed Jamie because, realistically, nobody is perfect. And I don't mind when we see flaws that Diana didn't explore in the books because I think it makes him sometimes more relatable. Now, I've had a problem when they really go off and mischaracterize Jamie as they have done in the past. But I don't think that this is an example of it.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes,
to
please.
what worked for you.
One of the things that worked for me was the camera work. I'm loving the camera work in this season because they are doing close-ups when people are like two people are in a scene and they're switching from one to the other, but it's not choppy, it's not erratic, it's just really well done. So throughout this season so far, I've really appreciated the camera work. So that worked for me.
I thought it was really interesting when Cunningham, very early in the episode, told Jamie when he was laying in bed in Claire's surgery, he said, "I'm not sure I can stand it, knowing the day is coming, unable to change my stars." And Jamie's look on his face tells me that that's what he's thinking about King's Mountain, the same thing. He thinks he's caught in a web that he can't get out of, that he has to face. And I think both men could say that that was true about them. So I thought that was very good writing.
Okay.
And I thought that was very interesting for them to put it that way, write it that way.
One thing that worked for me was Kieran Boo. I didn't ever. Bo? Is it Bo?
I think it's Bo.
Okay. B-E-W. His portrayal of the indignant rage mixed with the helplessness, the fear and despair, I thought was super, really effective. And the fact that he was, had been a soldier and a leader, and then all of a sudden he's finding himself being literally changed by his enemy's wife and his mother, and also having to repress all his feelings because men didn't show them in that day and age.
By changed, you mean his sheets?
Yes,
literally.
Soiled sheets.
What's and that stench? Oh, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just thought he really communicated all of that, and I was impressed. So that really worked for me.
What worked for me was Rachel throughout the episode. The not just the acting, but the writing, the realistic emotions that were written about and how she acted them, and how it was just very well done. And for me, that was that worked. I mean, you could just feel it every single time she came on the screen. And it was, and I what worked for me also was that it was mentioned. It wasn't just that she was acting, it was also part of the story as well, what she was going through and what she was feeling. And so that really worked for me, because I felt like it could have been, it could have been very
melodramatic,
dismissed, or less dramatic, but I felt like it was given its proper due.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought the nuances that she showed of, being unsure and the grief and just all of it. It was, you could see it all on her face. She's an amazing actress. Okay, I'm going to go to Marion Mamana, who's here. Marion is a retired educator and a fan of both the books, 2014, and the show, 2015. And what worked for her was Roger's realization that changing history is, after all, included in God's plan. That was a cool, I thought that was a pretty, that's not in the book, is it? Or not yet?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't recall.
I thought that was a cool inclusion.
I don't recall.
Okay. Pam Smith. She's from North Carolina, so I'm going to try to do her accent.
Oh, don't.
No.
As a South Carolinian by adoption, please don't.
Oh, you're no fun.
He forbid it.
Okay.
So
Pam works as a full-time hemostasis technical support specialist, and she's a book and show fan. Does anybody know what that is?
Sort of.
Oh,
Okay, Carmen.
hemostasis. You said
Hemostasis technical support specialist.
technical. So I'm assuming that it's to stop bleeding. I don't know what would you think, Carmen?
Yes, that's
Like,
what I
so
would say.
basically, if anyone's bleeding, she helps make it stop.
Yeah, so she works with a group who specifically tests blood clotting type diseases and issues, and she's an expert in that, advises on and solves technical problems and analysis and the equipment and all of it. So
That
That-
stasis was the
Although I
key.
have to say that's kind of a understatement of what she does using that
Yeah.
term. But when you think hemo is blood, stasis is stop. It just makes sense.
I thought I heard chemostasis,
Oh,
but
I
you
heard
said
hemo.
hemostasis.
Yeah.
That makes
Oh.
more sense. The stasis part I picked up on right away, but I was like chemostasis.
No,
Long and short, she's
hemo,
very
H.
smart.
She's smart.
Got it.
And she
And
gave
doing
this.
very important work. That's
Yeah.
the long and short of it.
Yeah. So her brief overall impression is she gave this a 3 out of a 5-star rating. She liked some parts and didn't like others. And what worked for her was the men all sitting on the front porch discussing what had happened. She was happy to see a Beardsley contribute to the conversation.
Yeah.
Carmen.
Oh,
What? Go ahead.
the puppy. I love that puppy. When I saw it, I said, "Oh, puppy." Yes, the puppy worked.
Okay.
Presumably, he was the same dog with Totus on the title card. When he's running through the grass with the dog, I assume it was the same
was the
puppy
same
or
one.
one of the other grandsons of
I-
Rolo.
I thought that too, but Leslie Rossick, who came to Outlander first in episode in season 1 and then devoured the books and the rest is history, and she thought it was a very well done episode. She thought that was a fox in the title card.
Oh,
I have to watch that
And I
again.
went back and looked at it, and I can kind of see that a little bit, but I don't know that they would get a fox for filming is the only.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Fox would romp with the kid either.
No.
A fox
Although there
might-
are some that have been made pets. So
Totally, a fox might romp with a kid. We had a fox that slept in our cat beds, and I would look out the door, and it would just look at me and then put its head back down. And I was like,
Okay.
anyway.
Although the foxes around here are less playful and more they kind of just sit and stare and stalk. So I don't know if they would
Play.
yeah,
it was more puppy-like behavior. Now, whether it looked like a fox, I don't know, but the behavior was more puppy-like.
I thought I will reiterate what someone said earlier, and that is, and maybe add a few more things. I really like the scene where Roger is explaining to Brie his conversion to realizing that he did, in fact, want to be ordained a minister. That enabled him to reconcile his Presbyterian beliefs and predestination because he figured out that they were part of history. And so he was struggling with that before, but this seemed to me like it came together for him. And when he explained that he saved his father so that his father could save him during the Blitz in the London Underground, that came from the Leaf of All Hallows, where Roger actually says that that his father caught him during after that explosion or at that explosion. So the writer has someone has some further knowledge about the folklore of Outlander. And I have to say that I am enjoying Roger and Brie much more this season than I ever have before. I have not found their story that compelling or the acting that compelling, but something has changed. And I like what's happening very much. I think they're doing much, much better work than I've ever seen before.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, because well, historically, I was never a Roger fan.
No.
No. I didn't much care for Roger in the books, and I didn't care for him in the show. And I've been saying that I'm warming up to Roger. I was warming up to Roger at the end of season 7, and this season has really seen Roger come to fruition in my mind as a character that I am interested in, invested in terms of I want to see him develop and what is next for him before I give a toss about Roger.
You loved Rick though, right?
Yes, we do. Of course we do. We love everybody.
Of course.
Okay. Another thing that worked for me is I liked Jamie's portrayal, actually. I'm interested to hear when we get to things that didn't work for you, Catherine, what you thought about it. But I was actually like, oh, like it's book Jamie, because they're not making him sort of politically correct like they usually do. They're saying,
He's saying,
yeah, you tried to kill me, you're screwed, basically.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm not going to be compassionate. And you know what? I would say you made probably worse than you made your bed, now lie in it.
Yeah.
You know, like I actually liked seeing that side of Jamie, and how Claire played with it too, where she was like, oh girl, here he is.
Yeah.
Because he's a man and he's gonna dip into that, and that's part of his character.
Yeah.
That worked for me.
Mhm.
What worked for me was the realism of showing the affluence that happened during that time within the Native American community. There was a lot of affluence just in general, and I just like that they portrayed it. Not all people were slaves, not all, Native Americans lived in villages, not all, it was just a nice way of showing that there was a socioeconomic diversity within the various communities, and that I think it was portrayed rather well. But it wasn't portrayed as if they were rich and therefore no longer part of their culture. It was there, like he said, he had a foot in both camps, although Ian may not have agreed, but he was definitely of both worlds, which is a world in and of itself, if you think about it.
Yeah. I'd like to comment on that. I thought they portrayed Brant very well. If you read anything about his biography at all, he was educated. He did, in fact, meet with the king. He had been abroad, and he lived he dressed elegantly, he spoke elegantly. And I was just astonished by the portrayal, both of him and the woman who played Catherine. I thought they both were very convincing in their parts. The room was gorgeous and reflected, the European aesthetic that he had been exposed to in the higher places amongst the peerage and that sort of thing. So I echo your sentiment, Kathy.
Going back to Leslie Rossick, some things that worked for her were Claire's smile as Jamie talks about the tendency going to the women. She liked that it's the same actor for Swiftest of Lizards. So there was continuity there. Jamie agreeing that he owes Cleveland, not that he's happy about it. Shock on William's face as he realizes that Amaranthus knew about Ben being alive.
When Jamie and Claire, when they were talking about what Jamie was about to do to the traitors,
Hold on.
it's a hybrid of what worked and what was my favorite scene.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. So when she said to him, if what she doesn't agree with how he's going to treat the traitors, and in my mind I said, does she know Jamie? Does she even know him? How can she ask that question? He's vengeful. It's part of his character, a part that we don't actually see a lot. But
Or ever.
yeah,
In the show, we never see that.
yeah, we saw it once in a while.
When?
But we no. Yes, of course we did. When in the three, Leslie and Hayes and Bonnet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also
So
see it
we're
in
seeing
when he
glimpses of
rescues
vengeful
Claire.
Jamie. Exactly. We've seen glimpses of vengeful Jamie. So when she's expressing surprise that Jamie would be so harsh, when she asked him, would he really shoot them? And I said, of course he would. Doesn't she know him? This is Jamie. He's gonna shoot them. If he says he's gonna shoot them if they set foot on his land, yeah, don't come.
Good point.
You'll die.
But can you say more about the Leslie and Hayes? I don't know.
Leslie and Haynes in season 3.
Yeah, I mean, I know who they are, but what was the vengeful?
When who killed him? Bonnet killed Leslie, and Hayes was hanged.
Yeah.
He
Right?
slit his throat.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Hayes was hanged, and Leslie's throat was slit by Bonnet. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was part of Jamie's motivation, I think, for eventually going after Bonnet. Remember when they caught up with him on the island?
I think raping his daughter was probably.
Well, I said part of it. I didn't say that was the only thing, but I'm saying that taking retribution,
Yeah.
vengeance, is part of Jamie's character. And that is a part that we have not really seen. And I loved, because I'm a vengeful person. I can hold a grudge for a long time.
No.
Oh, so I love that.
Dang.
I love that. Shoot them all.
I really liked the exchange when the women came to Jamie when he was on the porch painting the chair. He said, "How are you going to guarantee your husband's behavior?" And they said, "We have our ways." And I was like, all the women in the audience are going to be chuckling to themselves because they know exactly what they're referring to. He might not have understood, but he might have had to think about it, but they knew they had their own ways of more than one, that they could use that. I thought that was very good. A very good scene. That worked for me. Well, I'll reiterate something that Kathy said earlier. I thought the scene between William and Denzel was just hilarious.
Okay.
And funny and cheerful. And, it was such a nice relief from some of the heavy stuff that was occurring in other parts of the story. And wherever Denzel is, I don't know, the mood is lifted for me. He's just a sunny man. Delightful. Yeah, that's a
Which
good
is
word.
consistent with Book Denny too.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of war, and he always finds the bright spot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to least favorite scene. Did you have a least favorite scene, Antoinette?
Okay, so my least favorite scene was that part of the scene with Roger and Brie, where it descended into a sex scene. And I say descended because I thought the first part of the scene was so good and so heavy and so spiritual and all of that wonderful stuff. And then we had this gratuitous, unnecessary, in my opinion, sex scene, which did nothing to advance the story, and which I thought, and I think it went back to some of the gratuitous sex that we saw in previous seasons. And my heart ached for Sophie, because I'm saying, I hope that we had gotten past her having to get naked and simulate sex. It just ruined what had been up to that point an excellent scene. So I didn't like that at all. There's no chemistry. There's nothing. It was just awkward and awful. Stop it.
I kind of disagree.
Oh, okay.
I think of all of the
Carmen liked it. Okay, come on.
I think of all of the sex scenes between Roger and Brie, this was the best one I've seen them portray.
Hmm.
I think back to their wedding ceremony, for instance, and some of the others, and it was, oh, I would have to apply your description to that. But I don't see that having sex with your spouse is necessarily an unspiritual thing. It can be a very bonding and deep emotional connection. That's my view. Not always, but I could see how I didn't find it offensive in this setting. I do have some things to say about the position later, but
Right. So I'm going to say I watched this on the airplane, and I think it's PTSD because when I saw what was happening, I was like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. And didn't you guys get Antoinette's instructions to fade to black? Because we haven't had a sex scene since their wedding. I mean, like, I can't remember one.
Yeah, they've had
they,
others.
they've had others.
They've
They
had,
have,
Although they weren't
I've
after they were married
yeah, they weren't
in bed.
memorable.
No,
they weren't memorable, or I
Or maybe I was just watching
yeah, I
that.
blanked them out. But anyway, so it was like kind of a built-in cringe. And then, and I was also on an airplane and I was like, wait, are there any kids around here? And because they just haven't gone there in a long time. I don't know when the last one was, but it's been a while. But anyway, so I watched it here in my own room, and I was all prepared to say that's my least favorite scene. Why'd they do that? Blah, blah, blah. And it could be because I'm on HRT right now, but I got maybe one hormone was engaged. I actually felt something, and
I
I
did
don't
too.
I don't see the chemistry. It's not good when they're kissing. That doesn't work for me. But there was something, um, the actual sex scene itself, I don't know. I bought it more. It worked for me
Yeah.
better. I, yeah.
Mm.
I'm just getting, yeah.
I thought the slow tempo at which it was done helped a lot.
I thought it was,
It slowed it down, and that made it more realistic for me.
it made it more realistic. I thought it was more convincing than Jamie and Claire's seated sex scene.
I agree.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah,
It went on too long too. Dang.
it wasn't even very long.
It was long.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kathy.
It was my least favorite scene too. For lots of different reasons. Like I'm on HRT too, and it had no hormone. I had no hormonal reaction to that at all.
Did
I mean, not at all. I mean, apart from I felt part of the just the I mean, the idea of them being married and being bonding and it being after a very emotional conversation, yes, I could see that. I didn't see why I had to watch it though. I mean, it just didn't do anything for me. One and two, I was so focused on technique, I wasn't even thinking about the emotional part of it, and I was just like, oh gosh, how dry. But then
Wait, you said what?
Oh, dry.
I thought it was dry. It just seemed like it would
Now,
have
is
been
that
very
literal?
what
unsatisfying.
was that meant to be
Was
a
that
double
literal
entendre?
or figurative?
Both.
I mean, because she
Both.
is a young woman.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
the
that
thing
was
is,
that was a very quick.
it was very quick foreplay, and it wasn't like he was doing a whole lot of anything for it to have done anything. And I just felt like it was just dry. Then again, I mean, I don't know. I just got nothing out of it other than the fact that it made sense, which it did.
Yeah.
But
Right.
after that, it was cringy. I was just like, and then when I watched it a second, I just fast forwarded through it. I didn't watch it a second time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Me too.
that's
No,
fair.
But ultimately, no, that was by far my least favorite.
You're going to all disagree with me about this, but I did not like when Jamie said to Captain Cunningham, "You've made your bed, Captain, and now you must lie in it." And the reason of it is because Jamie doesn't gloat. And he was gloating in that over Cunningham's fate, and I didn't think that was becoming of our Jamie. So I did not like that scene, that bit of that scene.
Hmm. That's weird because it didn't come across as gloating to me.
It did to me.
I think the very nature of the line is gloating.
Yeah, it is. I mean, why
No,
else would he say it? You know, this is your fate. It's your own. It's your fault, which is true. But he
but it's
doesn't.
the irony of it. I didn't think, I mean, that phrase by itself in a vacuum could be seen as gloating, but it's the irony of it to me because that is what he wanted for Jamie to be helpless, for Jamie to be the one that was, that was in that position. So when Jamie says you've made your bed, it's your choices that have brought you to this path. Nothing to do with me. I don't wish you any ill, but you have
He didn't
chosen
say
your
that.
path.
But,
No, but
that's the
I know
very
he didn't say-
definition of gloating, though.
That's the very
No,
That's the
but-
definition of gloating.
No,
You
I
tried
disagree.
to do
I'm
this
looking
to
it
me,
up.
so now
Yes,
you
and
got
now
it.
you
That is
you're gonna
gloating.
get
That's
It's
it.
not
your choice.
necessarily. I mean, it depends on how you define gloating. But if you look, I mean, I can look it up if you
I'm
want.
looking it up right now.
Well, maybe it's because I love to submit. Well, my impression of it might have been colored by the fact that I really loved vengeful, irascible Jamie. So everything is filtered through that lens. So I didn't see it as gloating. I saw it as, there you go.
Well, he even showed compassion for Black Jack Randall when his brother died, and look what Black Jack did to him.
Yeah.
So
he had had quite a bit of time to process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
but this says it's the act of expressing excessive, almost malicious satisfaction or smugness regarding one's own success or another's failure.
Exactly.
But
I
I didn't
think
see
that's
that.
good.
I
That's to
didn't
me
see
what
that.
that's
That's
what
the
him saying.
definition.
If you're-
I didn't see the smugness.
I didn't see that. I didn't
Well,
see
I
that
did.
either.
I
Okay.
did too. I
Thank
agree
you,
with you, Carmen.
Kathy. Yay.
Well, we will have
Fist
to
bump.
Let's
disagree.
agree to disagree. And y'all are wrong.
Whatever.
If I'm forced to come up with a least favorite scene because I switched, it's not Roger and Brie's
Mhm.
sex scene. For me, the Joseph Brandt scenes were a little
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching a gorgeous Native American man act. That's just how I felt.
Yeah.
And his gorgeous wife,
Mhm.
who had eyes like our Catherine, and her name was Catherine. Did you notice that?
Hmm.
She did have eyes the color of Catherine's.
Take your glasses off.
I think what it is that I mean, I guess it's I don't know, for lack of another way of putting it, I do have somewhat Asiatic eyes, but that's I think where
But
the
it's also the deep dark brown
the
of it,
brownness
too.
of them,
Yeah,
maybe.
and a little bit the shape. When I looked at her, I
Well,
was
the
like,
shape definitely. I mean, that's where I get the shape from.
yeah, it's your Cherokee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my great grandmother had the same shape eyes.
I'm gonna go to Pam Smith for this least favorite scene. Brie and Roger sex scene. Coming off of Roger's statement about becoming ordained. Brie, I've decided to become an ordained minister, so let me grab your genitalia.
I love it. You see, great minds, great minds. Come on now, great minds.
Whew.
I can see how he was passionate about what he was talking about, and I can see how that translated into a sex scene. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I have a little problem with her grabbing her
Mhm.
her,
By the
and
fanny.
by the
What?
fanny and moving around. I didn't think that was necessary, but the actual coupling that they showed, I thought was decently done.
Okay.
Decent.
Okay, several other people agreed with that. So I won't say who because you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Anne-Marie Ibar, who's a mom and a retired 8th grade U.S. history teacher and middle school assistant principal, currently volunteer and docent at San Antonio Museum of Art. Show fan since episode 1, book fans since the Droughtlander of season 1. So Anne Marie said that her least favorite was the scene with Cleveland. She said he's a sleaze on steroids. And then he speaks in cliches. Dead men tell no tales. And then take heart, a bit of loyalist blood is good for the soil. When Buck interjects sarcastically that he didn't appear to take any pleasure in the fight, Cleveland said, well, there's sport in it, I won't lie. So that's a really good point. He like speaks very flip-flop.
Well, Jamie said he was the devil.
Yeah. She said Cleveland is allowed to browbeat Jamie with words like, you owe me and I should have let you hang after you spoke to me previously. Everyone is cautious around Cleveland. Buck cautiously speaks for Jamie, but Josiah seems like he was just fine with the way the skirmish went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said the same thing, that, Jamie can be more forceful with Crombie because he's not dangerous, but, Cleveland is the devil and he's potentially dangerous. So.
And Jamie's not an idiot. When you have your hand in the lion's mouth, you take it out slowly. Jamie's kind of that way.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to what didn't work for you.
Oh, I still continue to have a problem with the Frank voiceover in Jamie's head. Every time I hear it, it just irks me. That voice should be Jamie's voice, because Jamie is talking to himself in his head. I know they're all gaga over Tobias as if he was the greatest to ever. Anywho. No, I'm sorry. There are lots of Tobias fans. He's brilliant, but I thought they just went overboard with the adoration for him, as if he was the first actor that had ever played 2 characters in a show or movie. Come on now. Anywho, so that voiceover of him in Jamie's head, don't like it. I wish they would stop doing it. But of course, no, I don't like that. That doesn't work for me at all. And the final thing I would say is that the Rachel and Ian storyline, even though it produced some really great scenes and some really great acting, I don't see why it was necessary in such a shortened season to go down that particular road in the length that they went down. I almost think it was a waste of such a big chunk of the episode, even though, as I said, it produced some really great acting from Izzy.
Yeah. Okay, Carmen?
Well, there wasn't a lot that I would say didn't work for me, but there was a couple of picky things that I'll mention. One of them is that I didn't find Rachel's discussion with Brant to be all that believable. When she says, I have to be true to myself and the man that he fell in love with, that doesn't sound like her Quaker self talking there. That sounds more like a modern woman to me. And so it wasn't a big deal, and I don't mean to make a big deal out of it. It just felt like it was a little out of character for her. And also Claire, when she very bluntly answers Elspeth's question and says, you probably will never walk again. That was not very compassionate. I could see her asking Elspeth, signaling her to come out into the other room like we've seen her do many times in other situations, and explaining to Elspeth rather than just bluntly tell him like that. It just didn't seem, it seemed out of character to me for Claire.
But doesn't she have some feelings about,
I didn't say she doesn't have any
husband?
feelings about it. I'm
but
saying that he's her patient. And I don't think that when we looked at how she has treated other patients of her, she's always shown them compassion, and she's not, just kind of, she was very cold to me in the way that she said that to him too.
she didn't necessarily always show compassion to Lionel Brown.
Yeah. I was wondering if it's only because of what he tried to do to Jamie, because I don't
Yes.
remember any other time where she had such a stark enemy, like someone who had just immediately put them in so much harm that she was
Yeah.
caring for and then needed to show compassion for. I don't,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I have, unless you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've seen that. And I thought it was
Well,
pretty realistic.
I'd have to search my mind. There's an awful
Yeah,
lot of
I,
examples, and I
yeah,
can't pull them all up right now,
yeah.
but I just thought it was out of character for her and who she generally is. She had reason to feel bad about Tom Christie, but she never treated him that way. And, you know, she had reason to feel badly about Malva and what she did to Jamie, but she didn't, uh, you know,
Mm.
treat
But she
her
also
poorly.
loved Malva. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
I
she
don't
did
think
love
there's any love
Well,
between
she loved.
her
But that, I mean,
Well,
I
and
can see
no,
him.
your
I'm not.
point. I can see your point.
I
Yeah.
said they were
Oh,
small things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
wasn't a major issue.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just add what didn't work for me was, is it really a surprise to everybody that Swiftest of Lizards is a mixed race child?
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Did you see his eyes?
His
It was his
eyes,
eyes that
yes,
gave
but
it
he's
away
very light skinned. He's
His
because his
hair,
father's white.
yeah.
what?
His mother's not a dark Indian, Native
Yeah.
American, and his father's white.
Yeah,
And
but they
so,
didn't know, but they portrayed it like no one knew that Ian was the father. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Ian knew. That's
I
what.
mean,
Oh, you're
I
talking
think
about
they
in
didn't
terms
know it
of,
at the time he was born, but I'm sure as he gotten older, they probably
But
assumed.
suspected. Mhm.
But
when
um,
she's with Joseph Brandt and says Ian's the father of this child who's living there with him, he's
mhm,
like, yes. I just found that a little bit hard to believe.
Well, he might have.
Nobody.
He didn't know who she had been with,
yeah.
right? I mean, he
Oh,
didn't know.
okay.
She might have been with somebody else for all he knew. So,
That's a good point. I'll buy that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to things you noticed.
Okay, me?
Yep.
Hmm. Okay. Did anybody, I mean, come on, that baby thing that Rachel was holding, it's like, it's like it was a little plank of wood.
The
And
log
the,
baby.
the
That's
log,
what it's called.
the log baby. Saying, come on now, get a doll. I mean, come on, with your production budget, you could have gotten a little anatomic, a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, a doll, proper doll. It was just a piece of whatever, wrapped up in whatever. And she was, the way she was holding it, it was so obvious that it wasn't a live baby. That irritated the heck out of me because it just, it just brought down the production values
I
in
think
my mind.
as good of an actress as Rachel
Not even
Izzy
she could
is,
pretend that
no,
that was
Izzy.
a
she
baby.
forgets about the extension of that baby, and then you can see her remember because
Hmm.
she just sort of drags it around and plops it. Like when she put it down in the basket, it was like a bag of apples, you know? And then, every once in a while she'll be like, oh, right, it's the baby.
It's a baby.
I also think that that would have been a little bit bigger than what that she's carrying.
What the hell?
Sometime, I mean, it takes him a while to get up to New York from North Carolina, and
Exactly.
he would be at least a couple of months old, or maybe three, I would think. And
Woman.
that was not, that
Yeah.
looked
I
like a
felt
newborn that she had
It's
uh,
true.
I felt
prosthesis.
yes, I felt insulted. If they expected us to buy that as a baby, like they weren't that was insulting. Come on now, they can do better than that.
Yeah.
And let me just get my last one out
Yeah,
before
go
I
for it.
burst.
Go for it.
Are we looking at notice? Okay.
Notice things you
Yeah.
notice.
So the color of the wall is when I went back and watched it again last night, the wall is the same color as the wall in the Hamilton Grange house. Did anybody pick that up?
Oh,
That teal green? Yeah. As part of the tour, we went to see the home that Hamilton. What's his first name?
Alexander.
Oh, Jesus. Alexander Hamilton lived in. I think it was the last home he lived in before he died. Whatever. So, anywho, we were in a particular room, and that color was the same color as the room in Brand's house. And I remember the guide was saying to us that that color was used by people to denote that that they were rich, that that they were something in society.
Yeah.
So I thought that was when I saw it again, I said, "Damn, okay, yeah, I can see that." So I noticed that on my third watching after we'd gone to Hamilton Grange.
Yeah, I did think it's pretty dang thematic that we are in New York for this episode.
Exactly.
I remember the white flowers that Catherine is putting in the vase while Ian and Rachel are waiting to meet Works with Your Hands, Emily. To me, that replaced the book where Rachel painted her forehead white for peace. And so that's why I think the flowers were white, was because I was looking forward to seeing her paint her face. I really wanted to see that, but we didn't get to see that. But I thought the flowers were a stand-in for that.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that Claire's surgery is now very tidy, orderly, well equipped and managed. And think about her surgery back in the old house. It was kind of chaotic. There was stuff all over the place. But this one is more like a surgical suite in its organization, I felt. So I noticed that change in the two surgeries. Then I also...
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I think it's whoever is advising that sort of thing.
So it doesn't go into the character or the...
You
that's
think
intentional, or you think it's just how it worked out?
I don't know which it is, but I think the current state of her surgery more reflects what I would expect of a woman who was practicing surgeon before she went through the stones a second time. Then I also noticed that when Jamie's and Buck and Josiah and Cleveland are sitting on that porch having that discussion, they have a lighted candle. It's broad daylight, but there's a candle on the porch burning again. There were candles all over the place again, everywhere, burning even in daylight. And but I really had to laugh when I saw that one burning outside, on the porch where you've got outside light. That just seemed...
Jamie wants to show that he's wealthy, He can burn as
Unless
many
it was-
candles as he
unless it
wants.
was
Instead
a-
of green walls, he's got...
Well, unless it was a medicinal, like an herbal candle.
Well, it had a glass frame around
No, I'm
it.
meaning that people burn things to keep insects away.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
Some sort of... I wonder what herb would do that. Citronella.
Yeah,
But do they have that on the ridge?
they have oil, different oils.
She had had oil of wintergreen and things like that probably would repel insects.
It's kind of a thought of that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's because you don't live in South Carolina or North Carolina. No, there are bugs everywhere all year, except for maybe in the dead of winter, but otherwise there's bugs all the time.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Flying bugs, especially.
I noticed that Claire now has 3 bee skips instead of 1. So I don't know if her hive split. Certainly she didn't have enough time for us to split in 3. So she picked up another hive from someplace,
Somewhere.
maybe 2 from someplace else. So I noticed
What's
that.
his name brought them? We just didn't, John Quincy Myers brought them. We just didn't see him.
We didn't get to see him.
Which is how they should have handled some of the other things that we didn't need to see. Just have them up there, We could have
Yeah.
had Totis and the dog and everybody just appear on the ridge. And then they have a conversation with them to explain how they found them rather than take up half of the episode with it. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, well, I like that.
Rant over.
Somebody was saying they missed seeing him come with his beard of bees.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
That would have been an interesting one to
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, some things I noticed. I noticed that at the table when they were having their conversation on the porch, Josiah looked like a little tiny child among those other three big men. And he slept down in his chair, so he's like, we really ran him off, and it's just funny because he's this little tiny guy. But I chuckled at that. I also noticed the candles and wondered. Brie is looking pretty haggard. Did anybody else notice that?
Yeah.
Thin.
She looks very thin,
Very thin.
very thin and tired.
And I noticed she said, "My heart can't take it."
Yep.
Ooh.
So I'm wondering about that.
Yeah.
Carmen, what exactly was that they were making for dinner when Rachel and Ian camped out?
And that was a rabbit, I do believe it was a little too big for a squirrel. I think it was a rabbit.
It was a raccoon. I think it was a raccoon.
It could
I think it
also
was
have
a
been a
rabbit.
raccoon,
Yeah.
but I
Or
think
a-
a
Really?
rabbit is more likely.
Raccoon tastes lovely.
That
I know a lot of things.
You know what? People eat raccoon all the time.
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
have you
surprised.
eat raccoon in Jamaica?
Well, hell no, there's no raccoons in Jamaica.
You had raccoons.
No.
Where have you had raccoon? Anyway, okay.
People who hunt will eat raccoon, rabbit, and squirrel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I know, and Antoinette's such a big hunter. I can see why that.
I'm a big rider of horses too. Yeah. All of that. All of that.
I noticed that Jamie seems to have no problem writing with his right hand. Did you guys see that? It wasn't
Ooh.
cramped. It wasn't anything.
Yes.
Just wrote all those letters, no
Yeah.
problem.
I noticed that too.
And beautiful cursive
Yeah,
handwriting too.
Exactly, not the scratchy handwriting that we are taught to, he had in the books. And
Yeah.
it was painful for him to write, and it took a long time for him to write anything. And here he's just dashing off. He was fueled by righteous anger. That's how he was able to do that.
Okay. It was adrenaline.
Yes.
I noticed Kathy made the point last week of saying that making sure that we knew that Cherokee, or at least Cherokees, but Native Americans had slaves also. And I noticed they included that when they said, come in here, it was a woman, come in here and I'll get the master.
Master. Mhm.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that that was included. Okay, Kathy, what'd you notice?
Yeah. Although on that point, I'm a little surprised they had her as Native American as well, if that were the case. But they had slaves, but their slaves were usually African.
Well, I think she
Yeah,
was.
I thought she was. You don't
The
think
woman
so?
I looked. I thought she was. Well, I mean, if she was mixed race. I saw she looked Native American to me, so I can have to go back and look more closely.
Okay, what'd you notice?
A couple of things. I noticed the way Jamie was tapping his finger like he always does when he's thinking. I noticed that, of course, everyone expects me to say I noticed the walls, which I did, especially the wallpaper in the initial room that they came into where Rachel and Ian were waiting. I also noticed the costumes, particularly the similarities and the symbolism between Ian's costume and the person they came across as he was walking down the little circles. He had his on his band, Ian had his on his lapel, but clearly they're a symbol of I can't remember what it is, but they're symbolic in some way. I noticed the cuff on Ian's arm as well. I also noticed that, and it seemed a little incongruent, but I noticed that Rachel's reaction to Ian saying he loved him telling his child he loved him in Mohawk. Um, to her, it wasn't just him saying something to his child, it was him knowing how to say it in Mohawk that mattered. At least that's the impression I got. Because
I
he
thought
said it.
she was kind of worried that he was starting to enter that world a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, the thing is, if she didn't recognize it, because that means he hadn't been saying it, that
Before.
means that the only time he did say it was before. So that's the impression I got, that it wasn't like, oh, that's so sweet, he's saying I love you to my son. He's saying it in Mohawk, which means he said it before, and it wasn't to me, clearly.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And then I noticed the connection between Claire and Elspeth. I just thought that was there was just a lot of she became very sympathetic, which she wasn't when Elspeth was not a sympathetic figure when she first came on the scene, but she definitely was by the end.
I'm going to go to our live audience here. Say Linda Straight is with us, she owns her own business, which is independent welding supply company that she started with her husband and now runs with her son. And she put together our banner.
I wondered who did that. It was great. I compliment her.
Well, I mean, she put the polls together.
Well, that was still great.
Because I was like, okay, Linda will do this. She'll know exactly. She runs a welding company. But anyway, she said that citronella came from Asia and not certain on the timeline, but 19th or 20th century. So maybe not citronella.
Maybe not citronella.
Okay, so back to things you noticed. Let's see. There was another one from Linda. And she noticed that she thought that, and I agree, actually, I remember thinking this when I first watched it, that Cunningham was baiting Jamie, trying to get him to kill him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't want to live like that.
Yep.
But there's a conflict because he doesn't think he can die. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do with that. But okay, so other things people notice. Pam says that William is in a makeshift idiot hut. And that Rollo's offspring looks like a Siberian husky puppy.
Yeah, he does.
Didn't quite look like a Rollo.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. But
Well, we don't
cute,
know
though.
what the mother looked like.
Exactly, the mother could have been. Well, why
And
would
did-
the Siberian husky be in with the Cherokee?
But yeah,
Yeah, it was cute though.
well, they're Mohawk, but
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Who's
then
counting?
let's see. Leslie noticed that the basket for Augie, where'd that come from? I guess it could have been in the wagon. We always try to find ways that these things could happen.
No, man, she put it together. She
Weaved it.
She
wove it.
weaved it while
Weaved it
they
on
were
the
on
road.
the journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Yeah. She's resourceful.
Okay. Phyllis said that lots of dialogue that quietly puts us back into parallel past episodes.
Yeah.
When Jamie says, "You have my word," Jamie said that to Blackjack Randall before being tortured.
Yeah.
And again to Cleveland, making us worry that he will have to endure something equally tragic in the months to come.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Phyllis.
That's a good one.
And then a leader must be decisive, said by Prince Charles, and now demonstrated by Jamie's actions. I like that. Anne Marie said, Ben confesses that Amaranthus suggested that he fake his death. Ben refers to her as his wife. Does he not anticipate that she would be an eligible widow? Like, hello? Very good point. And you know, it is someone else brought up, and I don't remember if it's someone in the room, that, you know, William knows that Ben's alive because he found somebody else in his grave. So why is he going after Amaranthus?
Well, he knows he wasn't in the grave, but he doesn't know that he's alive.
That's
Lord John suggested that he was in another grave.
Oh, good point. So maybe in those moments
Yeah,
he's thinking
he's
that.
still thinking that he's dead. He just
I
wants to know why he wasn't in
shouldn't,
the
but
grave.
maybe he is in another grave.
Yeah, whatever.
So I want to comment on Emily's dream because in the book, it's different what she presented in the show than what was in the book. So in the show, she says that she dreamed that soldiers were going to take him, force him to work, beat him, and that he would die in battle. But in the book, she is engaged, if I can use that term. She's expected to marry a man, and she dreams that that man is going to kill Totus. And that's why, which makes it to me much more immediate and fearful and give her good reason, even more reason why she would want them to take him. And I don't know why they changed it. I'm not sure. It wasn't for the better, in my opinion. I think I prefer big surprise Diana's version.
Yeah, sometimes they mess with things that they don't really need to mess with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they did that.
And did anyone else think it was kind of strange that this 5-year-old just seemed kind of chill about being removed from his
Yeah.
mother?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, daddy.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think he was
like
older
that-
than 5. I'd say about
Or
7.
however
but
old he
even,
was, still.
even
however old
then,
he
He was young enough so that he,
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Leslie brought that up too, that it was like he was okay switching parents. He didn't seem to be, I don't know, maybe she really prepared him, but
that's what my guess would be. She prepared him.
culturally,
still.
like,
but how did she know he was coming?
Exactly.
Oh, well,
She
she
couldn't
did.
have prepared him.
Yeah, you're right.
That's weird. I found that weird too. It's child.
Well, maybe that child actor can't cry or something.
Oh, it's like, daddy. Let's
Okay.
go, daddy.
I have
All right.
one other thing I want to point
Yes.
out.
Go
So,
for it.
well, don't you think that William, growing up in England, would know that they wouldn't pronounce it Ralph?
Rafe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but he said
no.
Ralph, and then Ben says it's pronounced Rafe. Don't
Rafe.
you think?
But
he would-
usually the British spelling has an E at the end, and when he picked it up, it did not have an E at the end.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't realize that, but now that you
Yeah,
say
like
that, I
Rafe,
think
the
it is.
actor, has an
Yeah.
E in his
Yeah.
name.
All right. Medical and anatomical.
I'll start
Okay.
with some of the easiest ones first because I'm going to get to a hard one. That Clyster syringe that
The rolling pin.
that Denny brings in was very large for a human Clyster syringe. It was typical. I mean, they did have those syringes like that in the 18th century, but I think that was a husbandry one for animals that was used for animals who get constipated or if they need to clean out the afterbirth after a birth of a cow or something like that. That's the kind of that big thing like that was more appropriate. I thought I had to laugh out loud when I saw that.
No, other than I just laughed because it looked like a rolling pin at first, and I was like, "What?" And then I got a closer look, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what it is."
They're going to make biscuits.
Yeah, right.
I believe that Roger, when he experienced that cannon blast, would have suffered either a first, second, third, or fourth degree blast injury. Remember Angus back in Preston Pan in 210, how damaged that he was, it took his life. So those kinds of blasts actually do internal damage to people, and Roger had none as far as I could tell. I didn't think that was very realistic. Kathy?
I was going to say I was at the very least a concussion. I didn't see, but it would have been a concussive injury of some type, but at least like you said, body.
Yeah.
At the very least head. And he had neither.
Yeah. I want to talk about sex in that seated position. So I referred to this in an earlier episode of this from this year, but I had to wonder, is this the intimacy coach that is urging this particular position, or is it the writers that are selecting this particular position for sex? I thought it was more realistically done between Roger and Brie, probably because she's very flexible and she was able to get her knees forward more than Claire so that it looked like the position was more doable. I'm sorry to be so frank, but I mean, we're all adults here, right? So,
Kat's not, she has really long legs too, Kat.
Yeah.
she does, but I mean, she had to get forward more than what she was, and she was very far back.
You know,
Well,
But I'm sure that has something to do with the logistics. I mean, yeah, they're acting, but there's still going to be some physiological reaction.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm sure that has
well-
something to do with it.
well,
Well, I can agree with that with Kathy, but why with Kat? But
Mhm.
why would it not apply then to Sophie? She
Well, that was
scooted up
interesting
there.
because I was in that scene. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what
Yeah.
did they put between them to stop
Yeah.
that from happening?
Yeah.
or maybe there was no
No, they always have the men always have the
erection.
sock.
We're talking about an erection.
Yeah, but they
So-
have a thing that the sock that they wear, the thing sort of suppresses. Yes, it
No,
does.
I
Wow.
don't think it does. No, it doesn't.
They're little patches.
They're pouches.
They're
They're
pouches.
pouches. It's
I
like you know a bag of marbles. You know how it has a drawstring. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It doesn't.
And quite
require-
No,
frankly,
I mean,
that
she
would have
was
made
wearing a
had the
patch.
opposite effect.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
But I was gonna say one of our watchers, Linda with a Y, said that Jamie is the king of men.
He would have to be. Believe me.
That's why that actually worked.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it, so
Oh,
I'm glad somebody said it.
oh, you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I do want to point out, if you go back and look, Brie has great gluteal muscles, and they're very well developed. And also on the side of her top of her thigh, her tensor fascia lata muscle is really well developed. Jamie's was on the night that you can see it very well on their wedding night. It doesn't always show, and I was very pleased to see it in her. And this is from her dancing or ballet. I'm sure that her training has done that, even though to me she looks really super thin, and I'm a little bit worried about her in that regard.
The core muscles required on Roger's part would have been pretty significant, but
when Brie said, and you said this earlier, Courtney, but when Brie said, "My heart can't take it," it made me wonder, because we haven't seen her tell Claire, that going through the stones gave her some kind of heart irregularity that she has yet to explain, at least that we know of. And I was wondering if this is going to be a segue into her telling Claire about it in another episode. I hope it will be. I think that's an interesting part of the story. Kathy?
The only thing like in that scene that I noticed, and I was thinking, I guess this falls under anatomical, is the progression. Roger, I don't know if it's intentional but it's very realistic that as he's getting older, his body is changing, but it doesn't look like Rick. Now Rick looks one way and Roger looks a totally different way physically. So I don't know if it's intentional or not, because he's a different age. It's a different.
He looks more husky to me, doesn't he?
He's definitely bigger.
Yeah.
He's bigger and he's not as defined, whereas Rick is very defined and small. So I don't know if it's intentional or not, or from another role or not. But I did notice that, because I'm like, oh, he's starting to look his age. He doesn't look like just the same age all through every single season.
Okay. I only have two more. One is Denny refers to, he wants to take William to the quarantine area, and that would be for smallpox, and that he will, probably have to die, and that way they're going to get him away. But in the book, he is actually going to inoculate soldiers with smallpox pus. And this was not, I'd like people to know, this is not a vaccination. In what they did is they soaked thread in the pus from the pustules of a person with smallpox. And then they slipped that little piece of thread, they cut a little slit in the skin and slipped it underneath the skin. And that caused the immune response against smallpox to protect against it. Is if you ladies listened last time, I explained about the injury that Cunningham experienced. Because at L3 and L4, there is no spinal cord. It stops in adults at L1, L2. That means lumbar 1 and 2, referring to the spinous, to the spinal vertebrae. So I want to talk about his loss of bowel and bladder control, because each of those organs, the urethra, which drains the bladder, the chance to teach is a chance to cure. So that's when I'm doing this. The anal canal, each of those that drains the rectum, each of those has two sphincters. There's an internal sphincter and there's an external sphincter. When the spinal cord is injured, or the nerves that drop down, which would have been injured in the case of Cunningham's, that's called the cauda equina, they would have been damaged, they were damaged, then what happens is he loses control of the external sphincter of both of those organs. That means he has no voluntary control over what happens with them. The internal sphincter on each of those is mostly intact because those are involuntary and you do not have any voluntary control over them, any conscious control over them. So that means that they will remain closed until the organ gets full, and then they will open and the organ will evacuate. But you don't have any control over it. So I wanted to explain to people how that works in the human body, because we have two sphincters, not just one for each of those or those ports. Kathy?
All right. So the only two things that I would want to add that are different from what you've added is one, going back to what you said about Brie, she's saying our heart can't take it. There is a definite connection between stress and heart issues. And the reason is because of the hormonal connection. So when you have a stress reaction, 3 hormones tend to rise: cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. Yeah. And epinephrine and norepinephrine cause vasoconstriction. The heart is supplied by small blood vessels. So when they constrict, so you can actually have a heart attack from a stress reaction, because it closes off blood supply. So it's not just, it's not just a euphemism. It is can actually happen that news or conversations, or, I mean, there's a reason, you see it a lot in movies where people are yelling and screaming and then they grab their heart. That actually happens. Wow. It actually happens also from grief. And I'm blanking on the Japanese name for the actual syndrome, but it does. So that's what people, you can die of a broken heart. That is, it's considered broken heart disease. Okay. And Carmen, I don't know if you remember the name. I don't. I know it's Japanese. I don't remember. Okay. The other is when William got punched by Ben, he recovered awfully quickly. So when you get a gut punch like that, it paralyzes your diaphragm and you simply cannot take a breath. And so basically, and Carmen, you can add to this if you want, but basically at rest, our diaphragm is like this. And when we take a breath, it flattens and it creates negative pressure and the air goes into the lungs. And then when it relaxes, it pushes the air back out. Yes. When someone gets punched, it paralyzes it and it can't move and get a breath in. And the fact that he was just kind of grabbed and was fine. Even talking after being punched in the gut was
Yeah.
a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah, that's very good, Kathy. I agree with you. In fact, if you see a person who really gets punched like that, they go,
Yeah, they
because they're
can't. We
trying
can't
to
get a
use
breath.
they're trying
Yeah.
to use their thoracic muscles to pull the air in, and it's not as efficient as the diaphragm.
No.
Okay.
That's good. That's all I had.
Pam has a question, and she says, I won't do it in North Carolina. Jamie,
Thank you.
but I want to. Jamie's badge is still bloody in spots, and there's Cunningham on the back. Cunningham on the back of the wagon with his feet hanging off with a spinal cord injury. Isn't it a little too soon to move him?
In
I
the
don't think it's
case,
gonna matter.
it's not going
It
to matter
doesn't
with
matter.
Cleveland.
Yeah, he's already can't
Yeah.
use
The
his
only
feet.
reason moving would be an issue is if you thought that the spinal cord, if it was a spinal cord up higher up, as Carmen has pointed out to us, there was something that could sever it because it's in close proximity. So like if there's a bullet sitting there and you don't want to jostle because it will do something.
Yeah, I agree.
But other than that, the damage is done.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
already been
jostling
done.
him is not going to change the outcome of what happens.
No.
And the only outcome that could happen would have been a slight improvement, and that would be from a decrease in inflammation, which again, probably wasn't going to make much of a difference either.
From the movement.
Yeah.
And plus, we want him to suffer.
Wow. Harsh. And then
But I
Anne-Marie,
did notice his feet hanging over, and I was like, that's going to be a constant reminder as his feet
Yeah.
keep doing this and he can't
He,
feel
he
it.
he won't be able to feel that, but
He'll see
yeah,
it.
that wouldn't be very good for his circulation either, I don't think,
Yeah.
after a while.
well,
We don't care.
a wagon ride. I mean, Jamie rode all the way from wherever he was at the
True.
cabin. So
Yeah.
suck it up, Charles.
Yeah.
No, I'm
After
kidding.
Culloden.
Yeah, all the way from Culloden back to Lullabuck.
Yep,
But that big wound in his thigh.
exactly.
Yeah, suffer Cunningham.
So Anne-Marie Ibar said when Mrs. Crombie came to plead with Jamie, he put his hand over his heart. Did you guys notice that? And I took that as it still hurts his
This,
Yeah, I
his
did
wound.
too.
But she wondered, was it that, or was it a gesture toward the woman who is on her knees before him?
Nah,
Maybe both.
Oh, I
It
thought it was
wasn't-
like, yeah, look what happened to me.
exactly.
It's like as a reminder of why he really doesn't give a damn.
Exactly.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought it was more of an unconscious, like.
No.
That would have hurt. So if he's hurt, I don't even think he probably pressed. It was just like she's talking and he's like, really, lady? That's what I took it as. I mean,
Okay.
your son almost, tried to basically just tried to kill me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to legal lawyerly.
Well, the only thing is, Jamie was perfectly within his rights to cancel the contracts between himself and the men. I mean, is there any worse of a breach of a contract than to try to kill the other person?
Your
Landowner.
landlord?
Yes, landlord. Can I tell you? Yeah. That one,
It's a pretty bad one.
that one you don't need to go to court to get an eviction notice. Get off. So he was perfectly within his rights. Land reverts to him, obviously, because those tenancies are over. And so he was perfectly able legally to then transfer the tenancies to whomever he wanted,
Including
So,
women.
including
Well,
women.
that's what my question was. If the women are married, how legal is it that the husbands still don't have ownership?
Well, that's interesting because in terms of the time frame when women could own property, because there are different ways of owning property. And okay, so you can be a legal owner and an equitable owner. The legal owner is the one who is on paper. So that anybody comes looking and inquiring, the legal owner is Jamie Fraser. But the women are equitable owners, right? Because he has given them tenancies. So even though he's the legal owner, they have what is called an interest in the land.
Oh,
And they can
interesting.
do with it. Yeah. So legal ownership and equitable ownership are two different things. It's like when somebody dies and they leave a will. When you die and leave a will, your executors, once they obtain probate, your executors become the legal owners of your estate, and they can do anything they want with it, including sell it. The beneficiaries are the equitable owners, right? So they are entitled to it, but they don't legally own it. That's why I say to people all the while, make sure you are choosing your executors wisely.
Very well.
Yeah,
Or
because
put it in a
when
trust.
you die, when you die and your
That's
will
what
is
I did.
probated, your
Yeah.
executors own your property legally. And
Mhm.
the only recourse your beneficiaries would have is to sue them, take them to court to get them to enforce the terms of the will. But if they choose not to, and if you don't want to sue, and if you don't have the resources to sue, you're SOL.
Did,
So,
did you create
I
a
mean, or
trust?
put it in a trust.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
why
we
no
did.
one should own anything anyway nowadays.
Yes, you have a trust probably, Catherine. I have a good friend who's a
Yeah.
We have
CPA,
one.
and I noticed
Well,
she has
I-
one, and
no,
you have one too?
no, I
Yeah.
don't need to make one
No,
because I'm
Carmen.
going to spend all my money traveling.
No.
So I
No,
t-
we
I
have
tell-
a trust because we have
So-
a lot of, I have a big family
Yeah,
Okay.
and a lot of
But-
grandchildren and great grandchild. And, you know,
but we're in your will, right?
No.
of course you are.
You're not in mine.
I'm leaving my love to you.
Yeah, there you go, Carmen.
Smooches.
Just leave me a
Le-
blueberry. or
Leaving
something.
lots of smooches.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I add something? Oh, were you finished, Antoinette?
Of course, yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
So then you come to the thing of what in the heck was Amarantha's planning on doing? The fact that she knew Ben wasn't dead and she was kind of making moves on William.
Well, I mean, she was counting on the fact.
What was the end game of that legally? There seems to be like she would just be considered a bigamist and breaking the law.
Yeah, well,
I don't think she thought he was going to be discovered.
no, that's the thing. The premise is that nobody would go looking for him, so the lie would continue, and she would be thought to be free to remarry. Now,
Yeah.
the thing with bigamy is that a lot of times it's not treated as a criminal offense, and it is really up to the person who claims that they are wronged to really pursue it and get an investigation legally going. So who would be the wronged party in this instance? Because Ben wants to be considered dead. And she wants to get married. So who is
She
going
wants
to
him to be considered.
Exactly.
Well,
So
William
so
is
who
the
is going to
injured party,
pursue
in
that?
my opinion.
Well, maybe, so if after they get married and it turns out that Ben says, "Ooh, I'm still here," then William can then, sue for divorce on the basis that she's
Wait a
bigamist.
second.
Mhm.
Automatically, Claire and John Gray were not married anymore when Jamie showed back up. So why wouldn't it be like that for them?
What you mean? You mean in terms of no, but
Because
this
the
is
marriage would be then not.
but this is deliberate. Amaranthus knew that her husband was still alive when she married, so she had the intent to be a bigamist.
Oh,
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
With Jamie and Claire, she genuinely thought he was dead, and so did John.
Yeah.
There was no mental intent there, because to commit a crime, you have to have the mind and the act.
right.
John Gray and Claire didn't have the mind. They didn't intend to be bigamists. But Amaranthus certainly intends to be a bigamist. And
Yes.
she knows that Ben isn't dead. She wants that title
She's a
for
piece of work.
what is Wade? Trevor.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've always hated that name, Trevor.
He's a baby. It's not his fault. We're going to BTS now. Do you have any
Okay.
BTS?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Carmen?
I do. Cleveland did, in fact, hang Tories. And there is a tree in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, called the Tory Oak or the Cleveland Oak, where he hanged many Tories. And that tree lived to be 300 years old. I guess now there's just a hole left that's filled with concrete, but that did exist, and he did do that.
So
Um,
loyal blood was good for the soil, maybe.
um, Catherine Brandt was his third wife. So when she said something about the second wife, I was wondering if she was not only talking about
Oh,
Ian, but talking about her own husband at
oh,
the same time.
interesting.
Yeah, that gives another little layer.
The two before her died. I didn't find out why. And then when she says they are going to go up north, they immigrated up to Quebec, Canada, where they were given a huge plot of land for the Iroquois Nation and Confederacy. So that was what she was alluding to, that they were going to be going up north. That pamphlet, Common Sense by Thomas Paine, really was instrumental in uniting the colonists. It did get put around through pubs and so forth where people were reading it, talking about it, got excited about it. And it was a 47-page pamphlet. So he had some things to say about it, and it was very effective, apparently. I guess it was Singapore where Ian named Totus.
Singapore meaning is the name of the episode.
Yeah, 705. That's where that occurred. So that's all.
Okay. Let's say that Danielle Barrow, who wrote this episode, has been working on Outlander since season 2. She was like a history research person. That's how she started. And a writer since season 5. And she did episode 508, which was the black and white. Isn't that the one where Roger got hanged?
I don't remember. Excuse me.
I think so. That was kind of the really traumatizing one.
No, that was Stephen Wolfen then. Who
What?
did that? Yeah. That episode.
No, she's the
flashback.
writer.
Oh, the writer. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then she did 607. I can't remember. I think that was Sticks and Stones, maybe. I don't know where that's coming from. But in 701 and 715, and 715 was my favorite episode. It was Moby.
Written in my own heart's blood.
Thank you. And that was like sometimes I look back at our videos to kind of reorient, and I said, okay, I gave 712 an A. I'm giving this one an A+. So she's one of my favorite writers, and I thought she did a decent job on this. It was a little harder material, but anyway, so she's been here for a bit. Neil McCormick did episode 805 and this episode, and she also worked on Blood of My Blood too.
Okay.
I meant to look up Bell, Book, and Candle. Does anybody have any info on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a right of communication, excommunication. And it is, the term that is used with it is anathema, which means a curse or a throwing out of, you can't be part of it. So
Yeah.
it was a term that was associated with excommunication from the Catholic Church. Is what I looked up anyway.
Yeah.
It also was a movie. It was also a movie, but I haven't seen it.
Which, Anathema?
No, Bell, Book, and Candle.
Oh, Bell, Book, and Candle.
That was one of my favorite lines.
Okay. And then Marion said that Diana G, in a recent interview with Parade Magazine via Instagram, said that Jamie's plan to evict his tenants makes more sense in the book because the women remind Jamie that their brothers and sons did not betray him and would remain loyal, and Jamie realizes he can't afford to have untenanted land. And that makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like these women aren't going to be in his militia.
Exactly.
And he can't trust the guys, but I guess they just, extras, budget, all that stuff. Okay, so that's all I had for BTS. Let's go on to favorite lines. Antoinette, do one.
Okay. Um, Roger, we were always part of history, even if we didn't know it. I thought that was very poignant.
Yeah, good one. Carm?
Yeah, I like Denzel's statement to uh, the guard. He said, "The sooner you get me the bucket of warm water, the sooner I can perform this noble act, purge his backside, and cleanse his bowels." I just thought that was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It so sounds like Denzel too.
Totally.
Mhm.
I liked Elspeth. Beyond that, or Claire says, beyond that, only time will tell. And she says, it usually does.
Mm.
Elspeth. And she nailed it. She's
Yeah.
so good.
She's so good.
Kath?
Um, I actually had two. Well, the first one was when Elizabeth was talking to Claire, and Claire said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer." And Elizabeth said, "Which one am I?" Um,
Yeah. And then Leslie liked Rachel's line, I have burned with jealousy I did not know I had and do not want it to be consumed by it.
Mhm. Yeah.
From Phyllis. These men betrayed me, hunted me like a wild animal across my own land, all for the sake of what they call king's justice. She said a beautiful, concise statement of a truly horrible event.
When Joseph Brand's wife said how different things would be if we women were in charge, I said, yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's right. And that resonated with me.
Mm-hmm. Harm?
Yeah, I'll repeat this. I think it's been alluded to, but when Elspeth says, "In another time, you and I might have been great friends," and then Claire said, "I counted you as a friend," and Elspeth holds her hands up to her lips. It was just really touching. Elspeth is not an easy woman. She's very straight, con- constraint, constrained woman, and I just thought it was very touching. Done very well.
Yeah.
I noticed she didn't say what Claire was to her.
Mm.
She doesn't say anything except about Charlie, really, about her feelings about anybody except Charlie. I mean,
This is kind of something you notice, but I saw a little grief in Claire. She hasn't had a lot of
Friends.
especially ones that are, can meet her. And Elspeth, I feel like she always loses people.
Mhm.
yeah,
I
that
felt
can,
like there was some grief there at
that,
losing
yeah,
Elspeth.
yeah, I agree.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. So they say. I thought that was good.
Mhm.
Kat?
when Cleveland said that the soil was better off, I guess, with Tory
Tory
blood,
Blood on it.
and Buck says, "And you took no joy or something, no pleasure in it." I thought that was um
Good line.
one, it was very clear that he doesn't like the guy, and then two, also because he's very sarcastic, and I just like sarcasm. So
Anne-Marie, Elspeth, I'm glad to hear you're so filled with charity. I hope you've not exhausted your store for the day. Jamie, evidently I have an endless store of it. So what is it you want?
Yes.
That was
Okay.
good.
That was good.
Oh, and I'll do one more. Pam, Henri Christian. Papa said there's room for only one frog in the house. That was cute.
He's referring, do you think it was a double entendre? Do you think he was
yeah.
referring to the French? His dad?
Yeah. Yeah.
The 40s.
Okay, then let's go to standouts.
Okay, standouts. Where are my standouts? Okay. I love the little boy that played Henri Christian. I don't know, the children in the series so far have had real presence. You know, the little one, the little boy who played the drummer boy, real presence for a child.
Yeah.
Henri Christian, real presence for a child. So I thought he was a standout. Very small scene, but he made an impression.
Yeah.
His name is Benjamin Moss, that little boy.
Cute little boy. I love him.
Okay, Carmen.
Well, I have to give a thumbs up for the splendid scenery that we got to see in this episode. It was just beautiful, beautifully photographed. The river that they were traveling along, where it showed the rocks, you know, it reminded me of the same river that we saw in Last of the Mohicans, where the water's flowing over all of these rocks. It's not a sandy bottom, it's a rocky one. So I thought the scenery was just lovely.
A lot of the native state of New York is actually from a glacier rock bed, which is why
The rivers
Manhattan
have a
can
rock
actually
base.
they can build skyscrapers so high because of the rock bed that Manhattan is.
That's so interesting that you're saying that because we noticed on our tour yesterday that Central Park is actually built around rocks. Like they kept all the rocks in place
rock
and built
formations.
around it. And a lot of the parks are built around rocks. So instead of trying to dig them up, they just made parks, which was, we noticed that on the tour yesterday. And I thought it was a really good device to show traveling, to show us that nature and go.
The bird's eye view.
Yeah, exactly. So for my standout, I'm going to choose Izzy Michael Small.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was, she to me stood out the most of anyone in this episode. She was her facial expressions, I just bought every single thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even though that storyline I thought was, you know, as I said, I didn't like that they devoted so much to it. I thought she was outstanding because she went through a whole range of emotions and she was able to portray them seamlessly. You can sometimes see when people are acting, you can see, oh yeah, they're acting. No, I didn't see one element of the acting.
Only with the baby.
Well, but no, she was
the prop.
Yeah, she was definitely my standout.
Yeah.
Great performance.
So that was my standout. So that was actually it.
Oh, you only had one?
Well, I mean, there's others, but it was like the only other was my favorite scene. So it's again, the standout would have been Dr. Hunter and William's exchange. I did like, now one thing I did like about this whole episode is that when they had one-on-one exchanges, that was always done very well. Like William and Ben, William with Dr. Hunter, Rachel and Joseph. You know, the one-on-ones just seemed to work much better than the other scenes.
And it has to do with the camera work as well.
Well, that director was really good at that
Really
last
good.
episode too.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
Yes, of course, Elspeth, the actress who plays
yeah.
Elspeth Cunningham.
Frances
She,
Tomlinson.
yeah, she's just consistently, she nailed that role, and she doesn't ever fall out of character. And so she was my standout too. I thought Sam did a good job in showing JAMMF. Sometimes we don't see Jamf, but I thought he showed us a little bit of that in this episode.
I'm going to give a shout out to Catherine Brandt, who was played by, and I'm going to murder this, I know, Ocean Keturah Boemer Tutu.
Okay.
And it's quite a long name, but she had a small part, but I thought her awareness of people in the interaction, she was looking at faces, and her husband wasn't really all that intuitive, but she was looking at responses and thinking about, how I felt how she would feel if she were in that situation. And I just thought with her small part, her eyes were so alive, and her intelligence was right there in front of us. I thought she was impressive. I really did.
I'm gonna call out Kieran Bow.
Bull.
I already mentioned I thought he did a great job. I think he when he first came in as his character, I was like, but
Me too.
he sold me. He sold me.
Yeah. Works with the actress who works with hands. I thought she was great. That actress. She's beautiful.
Mhm.
And she just said so much without saying a lot. That's a real talent. That is a real talent. A lot of actors don't have that. If they don't have a lot of lines to say, they can't get into a character. But she said a lot without saying much. So, phenomenal. I thought she was great as well. And lovely to look at as well.
Morgan Holmstrom is the
Mm,
actress who played
okay.
her.
Works with her hands. I can't say the
Emily.
Mohawk name.
Oh yeah.
What's it?
Why-
What is that?
why-
That one. Mhm.
Okay. Carmen?
I think you all have chosen the things the people that I would call out. I thought John Bell did a good job in this episode. He didn't have as much to do as Izzy did, I don't think, but I think for what he had, he did a reasonably good job. He's very good at expressing facial emotion, I feel. A lot of the male characters are not especially good. Jamie, of course, or Sam obviously is, but I think John Bell does a good job, and so I'll give him a shout out.
All right. Let's go on to big theme. Antoinette, was your big
I struggled with that because there were so many different storylines going on. So it was hard to home in on one big theme. But if I'm lazy and just fall back on the title, Mercy. And you know what? That quote from The Merchant of Venice, the quality of mercy. Sometimes, is it merciful? Would it have been merciful to let Captain Cunningham die to get him out of his misery? It might have been merciful
Right.
to let him die. So, there are different ways of expressing mercy. And so that's what keeps going through my mind. How do you express mercy? How do you show mercy? And what is mercy, in any given circumstance? So that was what I came away with.
Good one. Open to interpretation.
Exactly. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth like the gentle dew, blah, blah, blah. That's from The Merchant of Venice.
That's from British education.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. That's my
Blah,
favorite
blah,
part.
blah, 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 blah.
Okay, Carm, big theme.
I have to agree. Mercy was everywhere I looked. And in every story arc, there was some expression of mercy from someone to someone else. And it was just throughout everywhere. I saw it, at least, in this episode. And I thought to myself, it is really a wonderful trait to develop and inhabit, to have mercy, because you never know when we would like to have mercy and when we are going to need it. And I just think that was just, there were so many examples of it that was shown to me. And I think that's why I wept so much in the various parts of this, especially with works with her hands and Ian and Rachel, but also with the women when they were begging for their families, for Elspeth when she was begging for her son. These Roger saying that God had shown him mercy by revealing to him what his true path in life should be for him. And many people don't ever find that in their lives. And so I saw it as everywhere I looked, it was just over and over and over again. So I thought it was well named. And I agree with Antoinette.
Thank you.
See, we can agree.
Every now and again.
Okay, well, I picked an obvious one, which is listen to your wife. I mean, that was all over this episode.
Yes, it was.
And, I mean, I won't go through it because it was just everywhere. I thought this was a real girl power episode. But I was happy to see they didn't do the strong woman trope that we've seen in the past, that it just ends up being a guy's version of a strong woman. This was actually women relating in ways that were real.
I agree. That's
in
good.
the way that they would be, and weaving in the mercy.
Yeah.
So I don't like that they may have attributed that to Claire, Jamie's mercy, because he's a very conscientious person, and but I did like all of the exchanges, both overt and subtle, between the women, and I just thought we saw women power in the more realistic ways, and I liked that. That really stood out for me.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
good too. Some good things running around in that noggin.
There's a lot of that.
Let's record on.
Oh, Carmen, snap. All right. My big theme was blessings in disguise. It just seemed that things that may have seemed, daunting, like even just having people on the ridge betray Jamie, helped him purge the problem. Cunningham being paralyzed got him away and back home. Roger getting a blast gave him clarity. William happening to be,
Beat up.
beat up by Ben actually got him, to safety. I mean, there's just one thing after, or even Ian and Rachel, knowing that the village was raised and then now he'll have his son. I mean, it just seems like so many things that could have been considered really horrible. There was something good that came out of it. And so I just saw it as a blessing in disguise.
Lovely.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I'll re-echo that because I feel like there's a lot of the story of Job in Outlander. And we are seeing, the return of Roger and Brie and the gathering of the family back and this sort of thing. And I think we're going to see William come into the fold too. I just see that as a restoration of losses for Claire and Jamie that are coming back into their life. And I think Diana writes that way too. It's subtle, but if you look at it over time, there are blessings that come their way all the time.
And the other blessing, yes, that's a really good one, Carmen.
Okay.
The other one, well, Carmen,
Yeah, whatever.
Was that maybe William is gonna get away from Amaranthus now.
Let's hope so.
That's a blessing in disguise.
That's a blessing.
But then maybe it's 15.
No.
So anyway, okay.
We're not
I'm
going
gonna
there.
I'm gonna do a few from our audience here. So Anne-Marie agrees that it's mercy. And Phyllis said that her big theme was the variety of ways that wives interact with their husbands and trying to influence their behavior.
That's great.
Valerie, overcoming fear. Roger realizing that ministry was his calling after his experiences at the Siege of Savannah and his recall of his World War II bombing experience as a small boy. Jamie wrangling with the fear of the future due to Frank's book and knowledge of what is to come, especially after the betrayal of the men of Fraser's Ridge and Cunningham. He is dealing with it as it presents itself. Rachel fearing she might lose Ian's love if he sees Emily and their son again. And the love that spills from her as she bonds with Emily, and swiftest of lizards, and knows in her heart that Ian's love is true. That was such a beautiful, I really liked that.
Me too.
And Elspeth, in spite of her pushy, controlling personality, fears for her now invalid son and his care. And she is willing to beg Jamie to release Charles to her care so they can leave Fraser's Ridge. So that's a good one,
Yeah.
Valerie.
Beautiful.
Leslie saw compassion. Jamie regarding Mrs. Crombie's request, Rachel and wanting Ian to be satisfied as well as working through her own feelings. And I think there were some other examples of that as well. Pam. So Pam just thought, there was too much time spent on this and that for only 4, more episodes. Agreed with you. Did you guys confer in your room?
We're just,
You're not rooming.
no, we're just great minds.
Yeah, you are. She said, I think this episode was meant to be a breather. Because the next episode is a doozy, according to the scenes for next week. I guess I think that all the main characters are ramping up their places in the next episodes. Big theme. Things and people are lining up for the next adventure.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, you 3 and you guys, we did it.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Everybody, have fun.
Love you.
Stay safe. Till
Okay.
next time.
See you next Monday.
Bye.
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 So the tea that happened recently on Saturday, Diana announced to the group that she had about finished book 10. She thinks that it'll be completely done by, say, September or October, before the end of the year, and that it would be available to us in the beginning of 27. So she's right there at the end of this book, or this writing adventure. I may live long enough to read it.
Yeah, but my name isn't there.
I'm adding you.
Ooh. I'm not even drunk yet.
She's got to be on there.
Did you put something in something?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So and
Oh,
and
okay.
and
Carmen.
But Courtney, can I say something though? And this is something that needs to be pointed out. So, you know how you watch, football games on TV and they look so interesting and you're up close and you see everything and it looks great. And then when you go to an actual game, it's like all these little ants running around in the field. So that's sort of how this is. Like everyone sees the edited version, which is so nice and succinct and so well put together. When in reality, we're all over the place.
all over the place.
You
Yes,
mean
let's-
our group you're talking about?
Yes. It's like this
This
is
is the
realistic.
reality.
So what most people see on the blog or on the website is not at all what Courtney
So
gets.
what?
This
So
is
I
true.
think we should
It's
give
much
a round
more
of applause
messy.
to Courtney for the editing
Yeah.
that she does to
Yeah.
make us all look so good.
Yeah, it's very much more messy in real life.
May 8th is no episode.
Really?
The finale is coming on May 15th.
All right. Well, thank goodness for Pam.